What is up, you guys? I am Heather Newman, and this is the hashtag Get Unstuck podcast, episode number 169. And today we're going to talk about mastering healthy boundaries for a very happy, joyful holiday season.
You're listening to the Get Unstuck podcast with business mentor, health and fitness influencer, and trainer Heather Newman. Each week, Heather provides you with tips and tools to glitter your soul and add sparkle to your life. Let's get unstuck. You are not a tree, so let's learn to move, change, and find true happiness by creating a vision and living your dreams. For blog posts, business tips, fitness training, at-home workouts, and more, subscribe to glitteru.com. Now, let's get happy. Here's your host, Heather Newman.
Hello, my beautiful tone babes. Welcome back to the hashtag Get Unstuck podcast, a podcast for all of you ladies in the second half of life who are ready to take responsibility for your own well-being and create a life that you love living. I am here to help motivate women just like you to look good and feel fabulous in this second half of life. I am your host, Heather Newman, and after spending the first 48 years of my life being a people pleaser and living with a scarcity mindset, I was stuck and ready for a change. I reinvented myself, I stopped outsourcing my happiness, and I've been brave enough to live a different kind of life. I'll be here each week to help you do the same thing. So grab your headset or your earbuds, lace up those sneakers, tighten that ponytail, and let's do this. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys hear me laughing, it is because I swear my dogs are just like children. They're super quiet, laying down, making no noise at all. And if you can hear Crunch a Munch in the background, that is Noodle deciding to have breakfast at the same time that I decided to record episode number 169. Oh my gosh. All right. So if you have not subscribed yet, please get subscribed. It helps us reach other women just like us who might need a little bit of motivation or a little nugget of some kind of inspiration or encouragement or just support even. So also, before I forget, I want to tell you about the 7 habits that changed my life back in 2017 before I hit the age of 50. I am currently 54, and if you have the Brain Dump and the I Am notebooks, you can find them all on Amazon or Barnes & Noble website, then you already have an idea of what these are that I consistently and continuously speak about. You have probably already seen the impacts that they have on your life too. But if you're new here, I created the I Am, the to-do list, and the Brain Dump notebooks to help you get started the same exact way that I did. They fit in your purse, they fit in your gym bag, they're like the perfect size, they're soft back covers. You can take them with you literally anywhere. I like to keep one in my car, so when I have those random thoughts, I don't forget to write it down and check it off my to-do list later. It's great for the holidays, for Christmas lists, keeping things organized, making your recipe list for the groceries that you need to get in order to make your holiday servings or dishes or whatever it is you're going to make. So there are 7 fundamentals to the Tone Babe Wellness, and I've been putting these into practice now since 2017 and finally started sharing my Daily Unleash Habits planners, journals, and notebooks in 2020 with my community, my Tone Babes, and it helped completely change and actually transform my ability to stay in the game. I kept falling off. I kept just getting not motivated. I didn't feel like doing it anymore. And that's normal, you guys. But in order to stay in the game, to continue to show up and continue to stay motivated, even when you don't feel like it, these 7 habits are my routine now, and I rely on them every single day. The Planner, the Brain Dump notebook, and the I Am affirmation notebooks are super simple, and so are the biggest part of my life. My daily habits of 7. I call it DeHo 7. I teach these DeHo 7 habits to each and every Tone Babe inside of the Tone Online Studio at tonein10.com. So the biggest thing I see when I speak with women in my one-on-one sessions and how confused when I talk to women one-on-one, either in Tone Babes or if I do one-on-one coaching, it's the main thing that comes up is how confused women usually are with so many different opinions and overcomplicated routines that they need to follow. An example of that is like if somebody starts following, let's say, a nutrition plan, and they are around family members that think they know better. They'll be like, oh no, you shouldn't have that, that's too much sugar. Oh no, you shouldn't have that because that's too high, that's too many carbs. Just remember, when you are in one of those plans, or you decide to make your own decision, or you work with a nutrition coach who is guiding you along through a plan, remember that what works for you is not always going to work for somebody else. And the way I explain it to my clients is you cannot learn 5 different languages at one time, right? So all the nutrition plans out there, if you are working with a registered dietitian or a nutrition specialist or nutrition coach, and they put you on something that is designed to help you reach your goals and fit into your lifestyle, know that when other people, friends, family members, other trainers, whenever they start to cross the line and give their advice, make sure, number one, that you asked for it. Make sure that you were open to receiving their advice or opinion. And number two, if you are on a plan, be sure to be kind and accept their willingness to help, but know that just because they heard something doesn't mean that that's the plan you're on. What I mean is you cannot learn German, French, Latin, and Spanish all at the same time, okay? But all the languages are beautiful and absolutely amazing, and they would be great if you can learn them all. You just can't let them overlap. If you're learning French, you can't study Spanish. It's going to be too confusing. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're on a nutrition plan designed for you, specialized for you and your goals, give it a chance to actually work. Give yourself a chance to learn the language in completion, and then decide if you're going to go with the low sugar or low carb or whatever. The thing is, you've got to make sure that it's going to be something that is sustainable for a lifetime. And that is why when I talk to women and they're so confused, it's because they don't stay in their lane. 99% of the time, they're confused and overwhelmed with too much noise. Too much noise of what's going on around them, what other people are telling them to do. And what happens is they end up simply doing nothing. They change nothing because they don't have a clear vision of where they want to be. So I can help you with that. And I was there once too. I just wasn't aware. And once you're aware, you're ready to dive in and make some changes. So it's just about figuring out what works for you. I can help you with that. So even as I talk about my daily habits of 7 here today, I truly believe that these are the fundamentals of wellness for most people. However, if these aren't going to work for you, then let's help you find out what those are instead of feeling like you need to fit into a box that someone else is telling you to do. So it's about consistency with my daily habits of 7 method, and by using these simple tools, and once they actually become a part of your everyday routine and new lifestyle, those habits is actually where the benefit is actually going to be. So I like to use these stacked habits. It's not so much that each on their own will change your life, but more that the consistency of all of them combined, stacked together, all together, will turn them into habits, putting your wellness on autopilot. So be sure to join me at glitteru.com and at tonein10.com. Glitteru.com is basically my blog and everything that I offer. It's my umbrella of where everything started. And then tonein10.com, that's TONEN10.com. It started in 2020 with 10-minute workouts to kickstart your booty into feeling fabulous, and now it houses every single workout plan, fitness plan, nutrition guide, and our monthly challenges. So it's a really good way to make health and fitness a part of your everyday lifestyle. So I hope these mini stackable habits that I teach help you, and know that I am sending you so much love, and always remember to stay gorgeous.
It's been a tough few years. Have you felt a little lost, fell off track? Or maybe your life feels like it's been flipped upside down? Are you ready to get back on track with a simple jumpstart the healthy way? The 7-Day Sugar Detox, Sugar is the Devil book is now available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It is a straightforward shortcut that tells you exactly what to eat and how to do this. The 7-Day Sugar Detox, Sugar is the Devil workbook and guide by Heather Newman will help you navigate a new healthy relationship with food. It will teach you which foods work for you and those that don't. This 7-Day Sugar Detox guide is meant to be a staple. It's not a one-time use only book. It's one that you'll want to keep coming back to over and over again for guidance. It's the permanent solution that you've been looking for. This guide is used as a resource to get you back on track when you fall off, and we all do. It's a journey, not a destination. So happy to hear how many of you are enjoying this book, getting massive weight loss results, and use it as a tool after those binging weekends when you've really whooped it up. It's the perfect, easy-to-follow guide, including a grocery list and meal planning recipe options for breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinner. If it's not on the list, it's not for us. Be sure to grab yours today and grab one for a friend. The 7-Day Sugar Detox, Sugar is the Devil by Heather Newman is available in a paperback and a hardback version. Visit the website www.sugardetox7.com or simply find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble websites. Sugar is the Devil.
All right, you guys, today's podcast is a little bit more laid back, I guess you'd say, and casual. We got noodle crunching on breakfast in the background, and I've had so many interruptions so far, so I'm not going to edit any of this. Even if I make a mistake in what I'm talking about, I'm just going to correct it. This is who I am, and it's just going to be like you and I are hanging out talking together. Before we dive into podcast episode number 169, which we today are talking about mastering healthy boundaries for a joyful holiday season. I know a lot of you will have family in town or invited to things by friends, and some of you just can't say no. Some of you suffer with a lot of FOMO. And before we dive into that episode today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about mindset coaching, which is kind of hand in hand with life coaching. When I do life coaching with clients, and I had so many wonderful women that I got to work with this year, and I appreciate you oh so much. My last 2 clients are actually wrapping up, and I will not have any more open coaching one-on-one sessions until 2024. So I wanted to talk to you today. I know a lot of my Tone Babe community, my push coaches, my wonderful team NOLA Fit, my bar babes. I know a lot of you are listening to this podcast, and I want to say thank you, first of all, for being here. Second of all, if you're on your Tone Babe walking and we're hanging out together, I love that. I love that. That's like incredible. But today I wanted to dive in just a little bit into mindset coaching. For those of you that have not had the opportunity to work with me one-on-one, I felt like I can do a little bit of coaching through my podcast. I almost said website. Through my podcast. So what I want to just kind of touch on briefly before we dive into mastering healthy boundaries is when I do mindset coaching or life coaching with my clients one-on-one, you actually lead the conversation. You actually lead the coaching session. I teach you a machine that consists of 5 components, and you can actually apply every single issue in your life by putting it into the machine that I teach and use. I use this to help me solve problems. I feel like at this point with this machine that there's absolutely no problem that can't be solved by the machine. Every single issue that we encounter in our lives can actually be put into 5 components with changes that can be made in one component that will affect the others. So let's just say there's 5 parts of the machine, and that would be number 1, your circumstances, number 2, your thoughts, number 3, your feelings, number 4, your actions, and number 5, results. So no matter what problem you have, we can find the cause of it by using the machine. It's a universal tool, and it's true for every single human. So let's say you have a problem with maybe overspending. This is just an example. That would fit into the action component of the machine. So now I would help you uncover the thought and the feeling that is causing the overspending. So the machine helps us to kind of unravel these patterns and get to the root cause of the problem so that you can actually make the change. We don't actually treat the symptom. We don't put a Band-Aid on it. We get to the root cause, we understand it, and then we get to work on changing it. So knowing this basic structure of human behavior, emotion, and just our cognition is extremely useful. It answers all of your whys when you begin to understand that your circumstances trigger your thoughts, which cause your feelings, which drive your actions, which create your results. It's very simple, it's very clear, and the problems get solved. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that. That's the machine that I use, that I teach inside of coaching one-on-one. So if that's something you're thinking about for 2024, be sure to send me an email before I open up those spots. I usually do it quarterly, and I work with no more than 5 clients at a time to make sure that I can give you the appointment that you need, the time that you need, and really I get invested in what your goals are or problems that you're trying to solve. And again, I don't solve your problems for you. I just coach you along so that you can actually understand how these components can fit into the machine, and you can explore your emotional adulthood. So you understand by the time that it's done that you're actually responsible for your own happiness. Nobody else can make you happy. And a lot of adults are still functioning in an emotional state of childhood. So, you know, we were taught as kids that we can hurt each other's feelings, and we carried that belief into adulthood. And we blame maybe your mom or your spouse or your boss or your kids or your friends for the way you feel. Like, I don't like the way she makes me feel, or he hurt my feelings, or she makes me so mad. Notice how often you actually give credit for your feelings, good or bad, away to someone else. Emotional adulthood is when you take full responsibility for all of your feelings, both positive and negative. So people and circumstances don't actually cause your emotions. Your thoughts are the only thing that cause your emotions, and all of your thoughts are actually optional. When you begin to understand and practice the concept of emotional adulthood, you become the most powerful person in your life. And there's no better news that I can give you. You must be willing to take responsibility for all of your own feelings and your life. This will transform your entire world right before your eyes. So emotional adulthood is actually your ticket to a happy, beautiful life. And it's available for you at any time that you want. So that kind of leads us into the holiday season, right? So welcome back. Today's topic is something very close to my heart. It's the art of setting healthy boundaries, a crucial skill as we navigate the festivities coming our way with the holiday season. So I want you to grab your favorite, maybe warm beverage, or maybe if you're like me, some Energized unicorn juice, and settle in, and let's just embark on this empowering journey. We're going to call it empowering journey together today. So let's go ahead and talk about boundaries. If you are anything like me, you understand that the power of boundaries is very, very important. Or maybe you're not there yet, but you know that you need to set some boundaries. They are actually the way to pave the way for great relationships and to build a life that you genuinely love. But here's the kicker. Boundaries aren't about putting up major walls. They're about honoring ourselves. And today we're going to unravel the magic behind boundaries and why they're actually crucial and how mastering them can make your holiday season not just bearable, but downright extremely happy and joyful. So get ready for a deep dive into setting boundaries. We're going to think of it as being a way to empower yourself rather than restrict yourself, okay? So first, let's start with the basics. Let's define what are boundaries. They're not actually barriers. Let's think of them more as like guideposts. They're about defining your own personal space, defining your preferences, and defining your own needs. So I once struggled with saying no to additional work or feeling like I felt like I couldn't say no or I wouldn't say no. And this is when I was younger because of the fear that it would make me be like less likable, I think is what I felt. I don't know. The realization that boundaries aren't about being rigid, but about creating space for self-love and being authentic. And it will change everything. So how do you know when there are signs that you need boundaries? Let's say if you are, or if you've ever experienced, let's just say, are you that person who says yes when you mean no? Well, that's how we can figure this out. I've been there. In fact, I used to put others' needs way before mine. It would leave me feeling super drained. It took a breaking point to realize that the discomfort of setting boundaries was far less than the exhaustion of constantly saying yes to everyone else. So your signs might differ, but just recognizing them is actually the first step to a boundary-filled life. And there's 3 steps to healthy boundaries, and I'm going to share those with you. So the first step is to know your worth. I say this all the time. I preach this all the time. I quote this all the time. I put it in my Facebook posts and my Instagram posts a lot. So let's just give an example. Picture this, okay? A friend always shows up late, and that friend always makes you wait, and it drives you crazy. It bothers you until you realize that you have a right to your time, and your time is valuable. Time is way more valuable than money, you guys. We can always make more money. We can never make more time. So embracing the truth will empower you to communicate your needs. So let's just say you have plans with this person for noon. Decide that you're going to order your lunch at noon, whether they arrive or not, right? Like, it's about self-respect, and you don't need to add any drama to it. It is setting a simple boundary of, look, we made plans for noon. I know you're typically running late, but I need you to know that I'm going to order my lunch at noon if you're sitting across from me or if you're not, because I have something to do afterward. And that person can make the decision if they're going to come late and order late, or if, they're going to make it on time. Step number 2 is learning to embrace discomfort. Setting boundaries can be really uncomfortable, especially for super duper people pleasers like I used to be. A turning point for me was learning to be honest about my feelings. And it's very uncomfortable at first, but the growth that comes from this is unbelievable. So embracing the discomfort is just a very small price to pay for aligning yourself with your values and recognizing that this is how you feel, and knowing your worth and knowing that your time is valuable and your thoughts are valid. Number 3, follow through. Boundaries, or setting boundaries without having the follow through, are just like wishes. So I learned this the hard way when I didn't charge enough way back in the day. I used to do some decorating, designing, and organizing for a short while, and I didn't charge enough for my services due to I guess maybe the lack of self-value, or I don't know, whether it's sticking to boundaries that make you feel worthy, whatever it is. I need you to just be consistent. I need you to recognize what you think you're worth. I need you to know your worth, and I need you to embrace discomfort, and just know that consistency is key. So the follow through on setting a boundary, whatever that is, recognizing where your weaknesses are, your boundaries are as strong as your commitment to actually follow through, right? So, you guys, I feel like I'm all over the place because I'm squirreling out a little bit on you. I have notes, I have an outline, but I just want to be honest. I have so much that I want to cover and talk to you. And I probably should have broke this down into several different podcasts, even if they would have been just mini. So know that I went over the machine with you and life coaching and how to process things. I also went over, and before I conclude on that, we talked about mastering healthy boundaries for a joyful holiday season. That's going to be very important with family and friends, coming up with all the things that you're going to be invited to. And there may be some things that you really, really want to attend. And there may be some things that you feel like you have to attend. And just know that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. You just have to weigh that out and see how that feels, play it out both ways, and realize, are you doing this for you, or are you doing this because that's what everyone else is telling you you have to do? So before we wrap up and conclusion with the boundaries over the holiday season, I did want to mention that I've got some really exciting news to share with you. Some of you are already aware, but the Skinny-ish cookbook, it's something that I've been super busy with. If cooking is not your jam, like me, and you still want to crush your health and fitness goals, I've got an easier way for you to do this. Hopefully these pages, I know they will. Inside of these pages, I have been diving into blood, sweat, tears. You'll find high protein, low calorie meals that fit your busy lifestyle, from super easy snacks to desserts that are super satisfying for your sweet tooth, guilt-free. It's all in here. And also for the holiday season, I've got a special edition. So there's 2 cookbooks that are both on pre-order right now. We are in November of 2023, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. Hopefully it'll be out by the time you hear all this, right? But I've got a special edition, the Holiday Skinny-ish Cookbook, because why compromise taste for your goals when you can have both through the holidays? These recipes are designed for women who want to enjoy the holidays without stressing out about what's safe to eat. So think of it as your secret weapon to crush your goals while indulging in the flavors of the holiday season. So whether you're a kitchen pro or just starting out, or you don't like to cook, you want something fast, you want to make something with maybe 5 ingredients or less, maybe in 5 or 10 minutes, then this is going to be for you. These cookbooks are your ticket to a healthier, happier you. Grab your copies right now and let's make this journey super delicious together. Again, I have been focusing on this so much for the last 2 months. Visit glitteru.com to check out the Skinny-ish cookbook and also the holiday Skinny-ish cookbook, because who said that you can't be healthy and still eat things that are delicious, right? We're going to make every bite count. And for those of you that are pre-ordered, you should have got a little golden ticket in your inbox, and you will be the first to know. The holiday Skinny-ish cookbook will be in your inbox. It will hit by December the 1st, which is just in a couple weeks here. I'm so excited to wrap this one up. And what I intend to do is add recipes to the holiday cookbook every year. And all you'll have to do is send me proof that you have the first one, right? Like I ordered the first one, and then I'll just send you the bonus pack to go with that every year as I add to it. That's my intent for the holiday one. And then the regular Skinny-ish cookbook, it's going to be more recipes and more for like everyday cooking for family, which the ones in the holiday, there will be a couple of duplicates because I love them so very much. But for the most part, they are going to be completely separate cookbooks. And you can check out the reels that I make on Instagram to kind of get an idea of what these foods look like. And they're delicious, you guys. I keep them on repeat over and over again. So let's wrap up in conclusion regarding sorry, I just wanted to talk about the Skinny-ish cookbook before I got off this podcast. So let's just go to wrap up today's exploration of setting healthy boundaries. Remember that they're not about control, but it's about creating a space for a life that is well lived. They're a gift that we give ourselves. So I just want to thank you for joining me on this boundary exploration. I want you to be open to knowing your worth and understanding and realizing that it's okay sometimes to say no. Just keep being your authentic self and keep showing up for you, setting boundaries, being consistent. I want you to have a happy holiday season filled with joy, filled with self-love, and beautifully respectful boundaries, okay? If today's episode resonated with you at all, please share it with your circle, and don't forget to leave a review. Your support means the world. And until next time, stay freaking gorgeous.
Hey friend, thank you so much for listening to Heather's Get Unstuck podcast. Her goal is to help as many women as possible, and if this episode helped you in any way, you can directly impact Heather's efforts by simply sharing a screenshot of this to your social media or team. Also, if you're looking for additional support, feel free to find Heather on Instagram at GlitterU, her website at www.glitteru.com, and or join the free Get Unstuck community Facebook group.